tons of 40s. Me, man. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dirtnation Off-Road. So we are bringing you another episode of Working on Winchers. Now, what's Winchers? What the hell? You guys don't know what Winchers is? Of course you know. Winchers is our 1988 Toyota pickup crawler. Now, we continue beating the crap out of this truck. You guys can see. You know, we've done some cool things. You know, we did the engine swap, the axle swap, we did doublers, we did all that fun stuff. But we keep breaking the rear end. And we just broke the rear end recently on Thanksgiving. So it's been a while since I've gotten to really use the truck, drive the truck. So today what we're starting with is tons of 40s. Now we already run 40s. We're gonna be doing tons of 40s today. But for this video, we're probably only gonna do half of the tons part because, well, Dana 60s are hard to find. But anyways, we're doing a 14 bolt swap on Winchers today. And we have the man, the myth himself. There you go. Yeah, you gotta do it a couple times. Yeah, that thing's seen some shit. Yeah, we're gonna get started with a 14 bolt swap. So this is from a early 2000s Chevy 2500. Because this truck's already 63 swapped, and it's pretty much ready to go for a 14 bolt swap. So we'll show you the kind of the parts that you need and what we're gonna be doing. Right now we're getting started with stripping the axle. So we gotta cut off the old mounts. We gotta cut off whatever is that a what is this shit?
This is for the
bump stop.
The bump stop shit, I think.
Yep.
This is the shock.
That's the shock mount. And then we have the old leaf perches, but we're going to have to just move the leaf perches in. We picked up another set of leaf perches that we're going to have to get welded on, probably presumably right around there. So we'll have some measuring to do to do that. And then we got to change the flange, do some brake stuff, and then we have a shock hoop to put in. So we have quite a few things to do. So let me show you guys what keeps happening and why we're changing this in the first place. So here's my old third member. And you can see, look at that, broken ring and pinion in 3 different places. Plus I have another, those boxes over there is all ring gears that I've broken over the past year or so. This is going from a 8-inch to a 10.5 inch in the 14 bolt. This is thick. This is bigger than Flacco's head.
Oh yeah.
But bigger than his ass for sure.
Shit.
Sheesh. Anyway, cutting. Let's get it. Hey team, let's take a quick second to talk about the Pedal Commander. Now the Pedal Commander acts as a tuning device for your vehicle, allowing you to improve your driving experience on and off the trail. Installation is super easy, plugging into the electronic pedal in minutes. Pedal Commander has 32 different settings from gas-saving eco mode to snappy sport plus, allowing you to fine-tune your throttle response to your liking. We recently installed one on a 2019 Toyota Tacoma and the owner has been pleasantly surprised with performance. They make these for a wide range of vehicles. Check out the link in the description to pick up your next best upgrade for your vehicle. Let's get it. Just like that. Explain what we're doing here. So we're moving our leaf perches. This is the stock Chevy ones. So what we did was we measured inside to inside, and then on the Toyota we measured from the center of the center pin to the center of the center pin, subtracted, and then divided by 2 to have the distance that you're gonna have right here. So we already measured that, and I'm getting stabbed by that. Ouchies. We measured it. It was approximately 4 inches, and then Flacco is also using a level on his cell phone to determine the pinion angle. So we're at -4 degrees, -4 degrees. You want to check that one? Make sure it's -4 degrees.
Oh yeah? Yeah, -4.
Oh, it's Ethan Stephen.
No way, Chevy did it right.
Wow, Chevy did it right, fool.
Well, that one has to move over anyways.
Yeah, that one's gotta move anyways. So.
Yeah. So this one is theoretically good. All right, we're gonna weld.
It's so...
No, back up. Back up. Oh, yeah. Smart guy.
Special.
No, it looks the same spline all around.
Jeez, man.
A little bit forward. Flacco. Hey, let's kill this shit.
Sí, güey. Mañana, güey.
You work tomorrow?
Mañana, güey.
You work tomorrow?
I do work tomorrow.
Huh?
I do.
Well, then we finish it tonight. Maybe.
Maybe.
right, let's do a quick update on where we are with our 14 bolt swap. Well, the 14 bolt is in. There's a few things we got to get taken care of. Truck is movable. The U-bolt situation. The U-bolts were a little short, so we had to space them out to get them in there. So I'm gonna end up getting some new U-bolts. We need to take care of our brake lines and then figure out e-brakes and what we're gonna do with that. And then we have our shock hoop to put in, which will go in right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the garage right now, get all that stuff situated, and then we're gonna continue with the swap. Welcome back, Flaco.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. 18 and a half.
So we're putting in the shock hoop. I believe this is from Rough Stuff. I don't remember. I bought this from Yoda Masters like 2 years ago. I'll link it below. Right there, wing. Yeah? So maybe go higher or no? Or is that pretty high?
I think that's the end of it.
Okay. I'd say put it high. Continuing our 14 bolt swap. It's been a couple weeks since the truck's been, you know, just chilling here. It's movable. It's the shock hoop is done, but we've had a shoot ton of rain, which is why it's all rusty now. So I got to go back and clean this all up and paint it. But shocks are on. I still got to do brakes, and we're gonna get started right now with the re-gear. So for the re-gear, I got to get started with pulling off the pinion, which is 6 bolts right there. So that is the only thing I'm going to do today. Is I'm going to chalk up the truck, jack up the front because I got to tear apart the front, and then we're going to take off the drive shaft and we're going to pull that out of there. And then from there we're going to continue with the re-gear because the re-gear is going to take a couple days, but should be fun. If that's got some mileage on it. Thank you. Oh, just got to mark this. Oh, look at that fat old pinion. Jesus. No wonder these don't break. Unless you got a freaking 454. Honking. Cool. All right. I'm going to pull the front diff off camera. You guys, it's not that hard to pull a front diff out. So you guys don't need to see me do it. So I'm just going to do that real quick. And then we'll get to the re-gear. Let's get it.
That sounds better. Yeah.
Welcome to day 57, working on winchers.
What, you blow the breaker too?
We hired a professional.
I wouldn't say that.
What?
Did we blow the breaker without welding?
No, I turned it off.
Oh, I was like,
How
how did we blow that?
We're not hooked up to power.
Yeah, I plugged it into the tires, man. Didn't you see? I went boop, boop. Fire's gone.
Play with the hot glue gun.
Oh shit. So we're doing the re-gear right now. No instructions because this is a backyard re-gear and locker.
Front yard?
Front yard. Pretty much he already did the pinion at the shop, and then I started taking shit apart and took out the carrier. So
See all the fuzzy
right now we're welding. We're doing a Lincoln locker. So we have the carrier. We're going to a 488 gear on the gears. I already tore off the other one. We've been moving fast, which is why I haven't really been recording. So it's all good. We're doing stuff.
Don't look at the light.
And we're using the new Carnage welder. Video on that may be coming soon when I learn how to weld. I laid a couple beads on this, but it's all good. All right, well, update. It has been maybe about a month, 6 weeks since we started this 14 bolt swap. Now, California has been crazy lately. There has been a ton of rain. So we've been doing this swap here and there, little here, little there on days where it doesn't rain, and it's been raining most days. So it's been kind of hell trying to finish all of this up. Now, during that time, I definitely recorded some footage. I didn't record everything, but we are going to cover everything to do with the 14 bolt swap, because as of right now, the 14 bolt swap is complete. Here's Wincher's final product. I got her doing a little bit of a flex, and you guys can see right down there. Look at the 14 bolt. She looks good. She's all done. So it's all looking good. Now, coincidentally, you guys will see in an upcoming video, we finished the 14 bolt swap, then took it out to Calico for a run, and I was just like, hey, I just want to try it out, just want to wheel it. Nothing too crazy. Ended up having a ton of issues with the truck. It would not run. It would not run correctly. It wouldn't start. I was having a bunch of issues. So I didn't end up wheeling the truck, but we did take it out and use it for about 10 minutes. So that was fun. But we figured all that out. Turns out, don't let your ECU wiring get wet, or else your truck's going to have issues with running. So, you know, because of all the rain and the fact that the truck, you know, you can see my door seals don't seal very good because body lines, my ECU wiring got a little bit wet, so I was having trouble starting the truck. But with all that said, the truck is finally ready to go. We're going to take it out this weekend. But in the meantime, I want to wrap up this video, show you guys the 14 bolt swap, finalize all of this nonsense. You know, I've driven the truck around. Truck drives fine. And in fact, after a full bolt check and everything that I've done, this truck drives better than ever. So I am pretty happy about that. One thing I'll mention is my front locker. It was broken before because I broke the airline. Well, I went and broke the fitting for the airline when I was tightening it. So another learning lesson for you guys. Don't over tighten your bolts. Some bolts you can tighten very tight. Some you got to be very careful with. Airlines, anything to do with fittings, stuff like that, you got to be extra careful. You know, me, I use my R-word strength, and I'm over tightening stuff, and it's not a good time. This is not what you want to do to your truck. So for now, the truck doesn't have a front locker, but it does have a rear locker and all that fun stuff. Let's jump underneath the truck. We'll show you the 14 bolt swap, exactly what we did, and we will wrap everything up and go from there. All right, here is our honkin' 14 bolt. This is a 10.5-inch ring gear. I completely love it. Now, first things first, this truck was already 63 leaf spring swapped. So these leaf springs are prepped. This is the exact same leaf springs you'll find in a Chevy truck where you're going to get the 14 bolt from. So I was already ready to go right there. I didn't have to move anything. I didn't have to do any cutting, welding, anything to do with that. As I showed you guys in the video, we cut off all the mounts and we ended up welding on completely new mounts. So you can see our old Chevy ones are right there. We did the correct measuring in order to put this in the right spot. So your leaf spring perch, welded on, good stuff. The shock hoop, you can see where I have it positioned right there. Now this shock hoop I believe is from Rough Stuff. I will link it down below. And then I had a set of 12-inch stroke shocks that I installed right there. So you definitely want to put them at slightly an angle, because you can see even with the flex that I'm getting right now, you can see I have a lot more flex to work with, even though I'm flexed out pretty darn good, right? Now continuing, I did a full re-gear on the front and the rear. Now, because Toyotas have a weird, well, I don't know which one's weird. One of them are weird, but usually the Dana axles, they don't always match up with the Toyotas. But where they do match up is 488 gears, because the front used to be 529, and then this one was stock, which was 410. I had to re-gear and find, you know, for the 14 bolts, you can't go 529. You have to get either a 538 or a 513. So because you don't want your, you know, your gear ratios to be misaligned, I ended up changing the front to 488. I changed the rear to 488 on this. So now they are matching. The front has an air locker, like I talked about. That one I broke. The rear, we ended up welding up the gears. So that is what they call a Lincoln locker. It's where you weld up the spider gears. It is not recommended to do so, but that is what we did. Now, Lincoln Locker is the cheapest way that you can lock your vehicle because all it costs is some welding wire. Now, it is just like running a spool, and you do have to weld it pretty good, or else you can risk breaking the spider gears, and then you're kind of wasting gears at that at that point. The other thing with welding your gears is your tires will always be locked. So when you turn corners, it's going to chirp, it's going to skirt, 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 which is why my tires are already all messed up, because I was already like that with the spool. Brake lines, I went to, I think is G&J Aircraft Supply Store, which is over in Ontario. And then my diff cover, you can hear that. Look at, oh, that is solid. This is a 3/8 plate diff cover that I got from Galindo Off-Road. I will link them down below. And then for the rest of the stuff, I picked these up from, I forgot who I got these from. I got these from somebody else that took off their swap, and they went, like they 4-linked their shit. So I ended up picking up these plates. So you can pick those up from pretty much any Chevy that has already done a U-bolt flip. The U-bolts themselves, I ended up going to Atlas Suspension. They will make you your U-bolts right there. You just got to give them the measurements. Now, my measurements were a little bit off because you could see, yeah, U-bolts, kind of whack, but they are bolted up and the threads are biting in just enough to where, hey, it's going to be fine. As for wheels, I have the same exact wheels as the front, but these are a 8-lug compared to a 6-lug in the front. Now, coincidentally, when I broke my ring and pinion on that Johnson Valley trip, I broke my wheels too. I ended up messing up like the lug nut holes. They were all wallowed out. Like they were completely ruined. So I needed new wheels. So being able to buy the wheels for the axle that I was putting in, we're good to go. Some other notes for this: if you get the 2003 later model 14 bolt, keep in mind that half of this stuff is metric, the other half of it is standard. Oh, use your boy. Look at the boy. I'm being visited by a baby. This one actually is half metric and half standard. So the lug nuts are metric. These are metric, which is why when I got the freaking upgraded, ones from Galindo Off-Road, I didn't know, and I got standard, they don't fit. So I have to go back and get new ones. The internals are standard. The freaking axle shafts are standard. So just keep that in mind. You're now mixing metric and standard, so you're gonna have to carry both. Now, as for the regear itself, it's actually not that difficult to do a regear on a 14 bolt because there is no pinion adjustments. There is only the ring gear adjustments. So you'll see that if you ever crack one of these open, there's going to be adjusters right here, and that would adjust it back and forth, and then the front is already set into place. Now, speaking of the front of this diff, in order to hook this up to a Toyota drive shaft, I got a flange adapter. So that goes into the 14 bolt splines, and then that hooks up to a Toyota drive shaft. So I was able to use my the drive shaft I was using before. I was able to use the same one, and you can see there's a bunch of holes cut out. So this adapter actually works with a bunch of different Toyota, splines or whatever you want to call it. And then the regear in the front is actually not that bad either because you have 6 bolts, so you have to take off right there. That piece pulls out for the pinion. You press it out, put a new bearing, put the new pinion in, and then you're good to go there. I'm also going to get the pinion guard where you take off the 6 bolts and then you put that on the bottom. I haven't gotten that yet, but we'll do that eventually. As for the front, like I said, it's mostly business as usual. You guys can see I have the same wheels that I had before. So this is a 6-lug, which is the Toyota. And then the rear, I have the same exact wheels, same style wheels, but I have a 8-lug in the rear. So it kind of sucks not being able to like rotate or change my wheels, or if I ever want to carry a spare, I have to pick which one I'm going to carry a spare of. But that's just, it comes with the territory. This is going to be, this is going to be like a trailered trail rig. It's what it is. It is what it is. But that's pretty much it for the 14 bolt swap. Now, I will say this was not a very difficult swap. If we didn't deal with all this rain, I probably could have got it done within a week. Gears and everything included, because the regear, I did a lot of the work myself with somebody there, like, hey, do this, do that, do this, as opposed to like sending your shit out and having to get a regear and all that stuff. Like the Toyota ones are pretty complicated. Dana 60s are pretty complicated. The 14 bolts are fairly simple and straightforward to do a regear. So I would feel comfortable trying it again on my own, as long as I get the correct measurements and everything. But the 14 bolt was not that bad to swap in. We could get it done pretty quickly. Do I recommend this for you guys out there? Time will tell, to be honest. Time will tell. We're going to see if we run into any issues. We're going to see if there's anything to do with, you know, the fact that the rear axle is now significantly wider than the front. Now, the front has spacers, the rear does not. And they are pretty close. They're probably within an inch or two of each other, but the rear is wider right now. And then having, you know, different lug nuts front and rear, now dealing with Chevy stuff that's, you know, all that. We'll see how that goes, right? I didn't change the brakes on this. This is still running the same brakes. I didn't change the axle shafts. So we'll just have to see. Another learning lesson for you guys. If you guys pick up a 14 bolt, make sure you get a full float. Do not get a semi float. You want to see those 8 bolts so that you can unbolt and pull out the shafts, because a full float is much stronger. It's usually disc brakes, and it's just better all around as an option. But we'll definitely see how this goes. I'm happy to get a beefier axle underneath this truck. Time will tell if it lasts. I think what's going to happen is now the rear is set, I'm going to start getting a little risky, a little brave, have a little bit more fun with the truck. I may not break the rear, but I'm probably going to start breaking the front. That's fine. I do plan on doing a GM Dana 60 in the front when that time comes. It's hard to find a Dana 60 out there. They're really, really expensive, and they're really hard to find in good condition. So time will tell. We'll have to see what happens with that. But for now, Winchers is done. Winchers is back. We're going to be wheeling this truck. We're going to have some fun with it. We're going to continue working on it because we have some cage stuff we want to do. We need to put a winch on it. We need to do a front bumper. We need to do a rear bumper. There's a lot of stuff we still need to do to this truck, but it's an ongoing project, and we're having a lot of fun with it. Now, if you guys have any questions about the build, we have a full video series that we have done specifically on this truck. I've been building it for years with different members of the group. We've been engine swaps and axle swaps and transmissions and T-cases and doublers and all of that fun stuff. You can watch this truck go from, you know, kind of nice, stockish, to its current condition within like a 3 or 4 year period. It's actually a lot of fun. So you guys can check out the playlist down below where you can see all the shenanigans we've done with Winchers. Been a long time since I've gotten to use this truck, so I'm really happy that we're going to be able to get this thing on some dirt, get it on some trails, have some fun with it, and then continue from there. But that's going to be it for the 14 bolt swap on our 88 Toyota pickup. We are going to link all of the stuff down below that we used in this video that'll get you set up if you guys are looking to do something similar. Now, because this video was kind of all over the place, once again, I apologize. Rain is a thing and everything like that. Comment down below if you guys have any questions, any comments, concerns, all that stuff. Let's argue in the comments. Let's discuss things. Let's have some fun, and we'll go from there. So that's all we got for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, channels, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Patreon. You also listen for shirts, hats, hoodies, and all those other goodies. Dirt Nation Offroad, BigCartel.com. Until next time, thank you guys. Let's get it.